Okay.
Done? Are we live?
Oh, according to the
We're
YouTube gods,
live.
we're live now.
Hey guys, we are back for our what's becoming a regular event now
Regular
on
little
Sundays.
stream.
And we are here with a delicious, it's not really intended to be a mukbang, but it just will be that we're having.
Kinda is.
Yeah, because we're having lunch. We're multitasking. We're having lunch while we do this.
Mm-hmm.
It is Brian's best chili.
Your plate looks horrible, babe. You spilled it.
I know, I spilled it because I
Look how clean this looks. Look.
I
Wow.
spilled
You know what we should put on top though is go ahead. We have the chili recipe.
Yes, it's on our channel, but Brian has improved it crazy amounts since that. I mean,
that was what, like 5 years ago?
yeah,
4 years ago?
which it was still so good back then, but now you add the crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The soy crumbles?
Yeah, this is just textured vegetable protein from Sprouts. So you get the veggie.
Fennel, the spices are just right.
I don't think we had fennel or liquid smoke in the original.
No, we did not. Fennel is key, and this
Gotta
is,
do that.
oh my gosh, this is the best chili on the planet.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you want the recipe, ask Brian because he always makes it.
That recipe is gonna die with me, I think, because the problem is that I go in the kitchen like a jazz player. I kind of I'm like, what key are we in? We're in G flat, okay. And then I just kind of mess around. But like, it's basically the same. It's like you get the canned, it's really easy to make chili. It's super easy to make chili.
Okay,
All you
explain
really
to
got to do is get garlic and onion, saute that in a pot with water or veggie stock if you're going no oil, because oil is 100% pure fat. It's a processed food. It's not healthy for you. So get garlic and onion, saute it in a pot with like veggie stock or water. Then you add like 5 or 6 cans of whatever beans you want, like red kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans,
Garbanzo beans, what do we
beans,
have here?
or mix them up like we do.
Yeah, pinto.
Which is like pinto, garbanzo, navy bean, black bean, kidney bean.
All the beans. Your favorite beans.
And then do 2 cans of like the diced tomatoes that are in a can.
Fire roasted or no?
Yeah, we usually get the fire roasted ones.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some corn.
This one doesn't have
Maybe some
corn.
carrot. Yeah, this one doesn't have corn or carrot, but it does have the soy crumble and then all the spices. Just whatever spices you want.
No, but the spices are
like-
key. Tell them what spices.
I usually use like chili powder, obviously, because it's chili.
Mm-hmm.
So chili powder, paprika, cumin, turmeric,
Fennel.
fennel seed,
Super important.
liquid smoke, like salt and pepper, and maybe some like oregano or something like that. Oregano or thyme.
But what was the thing you did to this one? Because we were out of pepper. We were out of black pepper, and you were like, "Oh,
I used the chili lime seasoning from Trader Joe's,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I forget what other mix, because we were out of black pepper, so I was like upping some spices to make up for that. But
It
yeah,
is amazing.
I forget. Actually, I can check the kitchen. Because it should be here. Let me see.
Hey, Vane. Hello, Lady Draws a Lot. And Catherine, good to see you again.
Yeah, I think it was this chili lime,
Bring-
which has salt, chili pepper, red bell pepper, lime juice, citric acid, and rice concentrate. It's a little. If you don't have a Trader Joe's, you might not be able to find that. But Trader Joe's is up their
You don't-
spice game.
You don't, yeah.
Like they have like spices for foods now, which I think is helpful. Like they have the everything bagel spice.
Yeah.
They have the chili spice. They have like taco meat spice. They have barbecue spice. So like
Yeah, they put them, they pre-make the mix for you.
yeah, and they have one that's like chicken soup, like chicken with an apostrophe.
We always tell
so you can make soup.
Antonio's not real. It's not real. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I don't mind hot food on a hot day. I love soup. I love this chili. It's like 93 degrees outside right now,
Yeah,
as usual.
it's hot.
And this is just delicious. It's so cozy. So, I guess that's 5 minutes spent on talking about chili.
Talking about what we're eating.
Oh, okay.
Hey to the 3 people who have commented, and Bo.
Hello,
Bo says hello.
So,
This is a mango smoothie. Well, it's mango and the tropical fruit blend with some mango peach orange juice and ground flaxseed and like ice and water.
Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to do a live response on a video that we will all watch together. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but before we begin with that, just to let you know, as always, all super chat donations, all what else? Venmo, if you want to donate through Venmo at Those Annoying Vegans. If you want to get some of our stickers on Etsy, become a patron on Patreon, all of that, including, whatever we make on YouTube, goes directly to the bills. They just keep growing and growing because these kids, they're not done yet. They're not done. The surgeries went well. We're still paying off the surgeries. But we had to take Ruin for the digestive issues he was having a couple weeks ago from not being so mobile. I think we talked about that in the last live stream. Turns out you need to move around to get things going down here. Yeah. And he's still dealing with inflammation in his mouth from the bacterial buildup. So I have to take him in tomorrow for a follow-up. And Jackie. So Jackie, we haven't really talked about Jackie at all regarding her health.
Sorry, I'm gonna go get the other computer so you can monitor.
I can see, right? I can see.
But not when we're watching.
Oh.
But continue.
Okay.
I'll just go get it.
So Jackie, the reason we haven't really talked about her is because she's been having health issues since April, and we have taken her to we took her to 3 different vets who literally had no clue. They all said, "Oh, it looks like it's neurological," and we were like, oh, "But what? Like how? Why? How would she just develop a neurological?" Because she, we threw out the wry neck, we threw out botulism because that's just super rare. Her issue seemed to be like disorientation, walking, like her neck is always sort of bent down. She has these like weird, she can't really swallow certain foods because she can't get her neck up far. It's really odd. It's just really strange symptoms, and no amount of research has yielded clear answers. The third vet actually had the thought, let's do blood work, so we did blood work, and then these levels were off. She had some kind of inflammation in her body, and we didn't know what it was. We were like, well, her beta globulins and her gamma globulins are high, and that could mean an inflammation of the reproductive organs, inflammation of the liver, inflammation of this and that, but her liver values were fine. So we were like, well, we don't know. X-rays were clear. So we took her to a 4th vet. Sometimes it takes 4. And she had the crazy idea to run a fecal. I thought, when she suggested it, I was like, well, that's kind of redundant because, I treated her for worms back in January because she had tapeworm. They get them from eating earthworms and, digging around in the dirt. And she ran the fecal. Turns out she had a roundworm infestation. And I looked up all the symptoms and they all match. Disorientation, dizziness, listlessness, and the vet said, those can cause a lot of pain in the abdomen, which explains why she's always lying down. And I'm feeling like poop because this whole time, since April, it really comes to show that you will be your animal's biggest fan, because we were like, we are not stopping till we get an answer. There's something wrong and someone has to know. Craziest thing though. Yesterday, we were in the backyard And I'm snuggling Jackie on my chest, I'm lying on the grass like this, and Jackie's on my chest, and I'm like, you know, I always like stroke her feathers on her chest, and she has like a couple of little bald spots right here. Didn't, you know, never thought twice about it. And I felt, you know, I was feeling around, and I felt the usual, like, you know, for months I'd been feeling these what felt like veins. They felt like arteries. Like when you pick her up, you can sort of feel. And I never bothered to look. Like, never take anything for granted, guys. If your pet is acting weird, whatever it is, look into it, because they're trying to tell you something. But or if you sense something, or you feel something, or something doesn't look right, look into it. Look at it. So I parted her feathers. And no joke, there are 2 worms under her skin. One is on this side of her breast, and one is on the other side. They're about 2 inches long.
They look like earthworms.
They were moving. They kind of, if you look quickly, like with your naked eye, they kind of look like they could be arteries, except, you know, then we were like moving them around. They were like wiggling, and I'm like, oh my God, what? And so that is part of the problem. Who knows?
Well, and didn't they say that when they did the fecal, they had like a rating system?
Yeah, she had a 3+.
And it was like 3+, which is like, I guess 5 is the worst or something?
4+.
Or 4+ is the worst?
Yeah. So now she's been on dewormer for, today's her 5th day, and with chickens, you give them 5 days. And then in 10 days, you give them another 5 days, because that's you're working with the life cycle of the worm. But so these worms, what we think happened is, because we've been seeing them now, you know, it didn't look like she was seriously infested, in the sense like the worms we've been seeing in her, sorry guys if you're eating, the worms we've been seeing.
Hey, have a mukbang.
The worms we've been seeing in her feces are very, very tiny. And usually if it's a very serious infestation, they can get intestinal blockages. Like, these worms can get to be about 3 to 4 inches long. The ones in her chest are about this long. And they're like... And
you can clearly see them. So she's going to the vet tomorrow.
Well, let's hope they let me bring her, because
we're hoping to get her in for an emergency
Rue's
visit.
Appointment, but I'm gonna call right in the morning and be like, hey, can I bring her, because it's probably, you know, why sometimes she seems to run away from imaginary things, like they're probably biting her, or maybe that's why,
like a weird sensation that she feels and she's trying to get away from it.
Yeah, like a tickling, or and maybe that's why her chest has bare bald spots right there, because they've been probably feeding off of her feather follicles. Her protein levels were off, by the way, and feathers are made of protein.
Yeah.
So it came to a fecal.
Yeah.
Gave us a fecal.
That's a pretty cheap.
It's like $45
to get for any animal, like cat, dog, chicken. Yeah, it's like $45 to get a fecal test.
So of course we felt like, you know, it's because we tend to overcomplicate things. Like, we look up these illnesses and we're like, could it be this? Could it be that? Like, and it was a fecal, gave us the answers. And now we're hoping we're on time, because roundworms can cause a lot of damage. We think that the ones in her chest probably migrated through her intestinal wall
when they were smaller.
They can migrate to other organs. They can migrate to the brain, the heart. So we want to make sure that we treat her thoroughly, you know, because the medicine she's on right now is for the digestive tract. So we're cleaning out her digestive tract, but what now it's obvious they could be anywhere.
They're in other places. And I don't know if they're going to do like a surgery and just
pluck them out,
snip and pull them out, or do they inject something into the muscle tissue?
I don't know.
But
so tomorrow's like,
and you know,
it never ends.
Rescue the animals, guys.
Do it. We highly recommend it. No, I'm serious, because
it's just like taking care of a cat or a dog or any other, companion animal.
The difference is the professionals out there, they seem to have cats and dogs down pat, but some avian vets, not quite, like.
Well, I still think there is a division between chickens and like parakeets because avian vets normally will treat. What was the bird that they actually have there in the office?
A macaw.
A macaw, yeah. They'll do like parrots, macaws, parakeets, normal like pet birds. But this vet also treats quote unquote farm animals. Mm-hmm. So people bring pigs and sheep and goats and cows and
this fourth vet, by the way, who we found is amazing. Mm-hmm. It's been so hard to find, we've been talking to you guys, like their surgeon for their amputation was excellent. But he looked at Jackie and he kind of was like, yeah, it looks neurological, got blood work, didn't really...
What you gonna do?
Didn't call us with results. Actually, no, when I called to get results, he was like, yeah, everything is normal. Then I sent that blood work to another vet, to one of their other vets, and she was like, her globulin levels are high. I'm like, really? Because the other vet said that everything was normal. So it really comes down to finding someone who cares enough to really who's a problem solver. The third vet who, I think she had really good intentions. We did the blood work, we did the x-rays. I don't know why she didn't think of doing a fecal. But she was really legitimately trying to solve this problem, but we were never going to solve it because how are we going to know she had parasites if we didn't do a fecal? So, and the fourth vet, the one who helped Rue with his digestive issues, she was great. And I have to say, like right now, the difference between this vet and all the other vets, one of the major differences is that she is meeting with her clients face to face. Mm-hmm. COVID, I don't know if it's...
During COVID. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
I think it's just become an excuse for a lot of vets to not have to deal with people because...
I don't understand. Just have a policy where you're like...
Yeah.
You have to be vaccinated to enter.
Yeah.
And the whole staff is vaccinated.
Wear a mask.
And wear a mask and you're fine. Like, I don't understand... I cannot stand calling.
Yeah.
I have called so many offices.
No.
And you get to their voicemail and it's like, due to COVID, the phrase due to COVID should be done away with. Apparently we've been dealing with COVID for 18 months. So due to COVID is not an excuse for anything anymore. It's just frustrating. Because like, we know COVID-19. Like we know. People, you get the vaccine, wear a mask. Like, just, please protect yourself, protect others.
And then meet with,
It's just
there's no trying to solve problems over the phone when it comes to your pets. Like, I have to go in there and show them. I want to go in there. First of all, be with your pet, because remember Antonio? He fainted before his surgery because he was nervous. He's more comfortable with people he knows. Like, so I want to be there with them in the exam room and show them, like, look at this. This is what happens when we feed her, and this is what she's doing with her neck, and da-da-da. So, but this vet, it was fine. She took her to the back, did a full body exam. Well, obviously not full, because even she missed but they're easy to miss.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to spot unless you're really familiar with her body. But they looked down her, this vet did it with Rue and with Jackie.
Yeah, and she comes back and she's like, looked at the eyes, looked at the ears, I looked at the throat, everything is this and this. She can read the x-rays on the spot, which is crazy. Usually you have to wait for the radiologist to get back. It's a week. We had to wait. Remember we had to wait 10 days for the...
for the culture?
For Rue's culture, we had to wait 10 days for the lab to come back with results. We had the diagnosis. We knew he had a bacterial infection. We knew what the bacteria was, but for some reason the lab was unable to provide a sensitivity result. Sensitivity means what is this bacteria sensitive to?
Yeah.
Is
which
it
medication?
which
is gonna
medication?
work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So the animal is not going to suffer because of the illness per se, but because of the wait to treat the illness. And over the course of 10 days, a lot can happen. So it's really frustrating, but we strongly recommend you adopt animals. It is so rewarding especially when, well, you know, this will all get resolved. This will all get resolved. Having them in our lives has given us so much joy, but more importantly, I think we've been able to give them the life that we would hope. If I were a chicken,
Yeah,
I think I would want, you know, because we've really spoiled the heck out of them so
I mean,
much.
you know, you can argue like
we love them so
you
much.
can argue that for any companion animal that lives in a house, like, would their quote unquote more natural life be like living outdoors, living in fields, living in jungle, you know, living in a house in the Los Angeles County area? Like, not exactly natural for a chicken, but we're doing our best to provide them with the best care. Obviously, we rescued them from a place that was not providing them with adequate care. The sanctuary where we used to volunteer was neglecting their care.
Oh, pardon me.
And if we hadn't done anything, we don't know if anything would have been done.
Because
So we're doing the best we possibly can. So if that means this big boy hangs out inside sometimes, right?
Yes, look at
You
this.
hang out inside, and then you go out to the yard and you act like a chicken, and then you come inside and you act like a chicken. And sometimes you act like a teddy bear.
Yes, he's my teddy chicken. You're
So
independent.
guys,
You're independent chicken right now.
Independent boy.
Yeah, now that he has his,
Boy.
he's got his bearings a little more, like his. There's
You
Rue.
too. You too.
His foot is healing. You can see his leg is healing very well. He's just got a scab, and that'll eventually fall off.
And he has dissolvable stitches in there.
Yes, my boy. This is just a little quick hello for everybody, because everybody thinks you're so handsome, right? Everybody thinks he's so
Antonio's a handsome
handsome.
dude.
Yeah, let's catch up with you guys here.
Yeah.
Marianne
Well-
Rutter, I'm so glad you made it to our stream. I know it's been a while.
Well, I wanted to say real quick again that this handsome young man here, and that handsome young man over there, and this beautiful lady that's over there,
Jackie.
Jackie, Fireroo, and Antonio, all of your super chats today, all of your, that's right, Bubs, all of your Patreon donations, all of your direct donations on Venmo, all of your Etsy purchases, all of that goes directly towards our animal rescue fund for these 3 animals that we have rescued.
Yes.
Right, buddy?
I love them. Gosh, I just can't sometimes. I'm sorry.
Careful.
Woohoo, I almost knocked the chili into my chair. All right, Bubby. There you go. Oh, there you go.
Hey, big handsome.
Okay,
All right.
let me see.
You guys are arguing about the vaccine in the
Bo.
comments.
Bo is reacting to Jackie's story first.
yes.
So yeah, thank you so much for that. It's surprising though how much sometimes we talk about them so much and no one ever says anything. We're like, are you guys listening? Because it's such a big part of our lives. If you don't see us on YouTube, it's probably because we're with the chickens. Because we're doing something with the chickens. We're taking care of them. It's a full-time job. So we appreciate your attention to that detail. Yeah, but Jackie, I'm so happy she's gonna get treatment. I'm glad we know what it is. It's such a huge weight off. Hello.
Hey, big boy.
Yeah, Bo, roundworms can attack dogs. Or was it heartworms? Is it heartworm maybe?
Heartworm is a separate thing. I think.
Yeah.
Like
but
dogs
I
take
think
heartworm medication.
But I think roundworms can still attack.
They can get into the heart.
I think. I'm guessing there's a lot more accumulated knowledge about cats and dogs, yeah, first versus animals and animal ag. And you just gotta find the right vet too, you know. An exotics vet, they count. Chickens are.
Chickens, cows, and pigs.
They fall under the category of exotics.
Or is it just chickens because they're birds? Are pigs exotic? I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, have y'all, Catherine's asking, have y'all gotten the vaccine? Yes.
We did.
No brainer.
A while back.
Yeah, a while ago. It's a no brainer.
You want to protect other people from catching a deadly virus.
Yes.
And you also want to prevent the virus from possibly mutating. You want to protect the virus from mutating. So
not protect the
virus, but you want to prevent the virus from mutating.
Which it already is, as you can see. But see, this is because people are not vaccinating. So what's going to happen is this virus, because we're not nipping this in the bud, because we're so stubborn, we want our personal freedoms and anyway,
but again, I'm confused.
All this stuff. But hold on, let me. So what's going to happen is this virus is going to keep mutating and mutating, and they're probably going to have to continue developing more and more vaccines, which means more and more animal suffering, right? So we just get it done. It's not, we've all gotten vaccines, like, as babies, as children, and
you get like 9 of them before you're allowed to go to school.
I know.
And
we're still here.
Yeah, and before you go travel to other continents or other countries, you have to get certain vaccines. Like, this is not a new thing. This is not a new thing. People, kids, you know,
it's just this one.
Smallpox vaccine, polio vaccine, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. This is all normal stuff. So Catherine Green, she says she cares too much about what people will think of you living in the deep south. Well, here's what I would say to people living in the deep. I come from West Virginia, which is not in the South. We're actually the only state to split from the South during the Civil War to become part of the Union. But it's still a very red state where I'm from. And I don't understand the people who maybe are against our current president, so they don't want to get the vaccine that the previous president supposedly came up with and invented and distributed. I don't get that. If it's Trump's vaccine and Trump's going to save America by creating this vaccine, and Operation Warp Speed developed it in record time so that we could save lives, so you should want to take the vaccine if you're a Trumper, because it's Trump's vaccine. Joe Biden's just handing it out to people. I mean, that's true. So I don't understand people that support Trump but don't want the vaccine when Trump's team developed the vaccine. That is true. That will always be true. Donald Trump's administration.
Because he acts like he didn't get it.
But he did.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, let's just.
I know you guys are fighting about the vaccine in the chat here. So
careful, because anyone spreading disinformation will probably get us demonetized. So we will have to kick you. Not that we don't appreciate free speech.
Yeah.
But also putting people's lives in danger is not cool. So we take that seriously.
And as we discussed before, by you going and getting like the Pfizer, the Moderna, whatever vaccine is available, AstraZeneca, J&J, it's not like when you take a vaccine, more animals will be tested on. That vaccine has already been developed. Those animals have already been tested on. Do we wish it hadn't happened, or do we wish there was a way around it? Yes, but we're vegan and we're practical, and we understand that sometimes we live in a non-vegan world and there's no practical or possible way to take a vaccine that wasn't tested on animals. But simply by taking a vaccine, you're not testing on more animals.
Yeah.
The animals testing has already been done.
Bo literally said the same thing. How the more or longer people remain unvaccinated, the more the virus will mutate, and eventually vaccines will not be effective anymore, and new ones will need to be developed. It's just logic, yeah. So, sorry guys, you're going on. Just, why does the chicken need the rope? What rope? Rope?
So why does the chicken need the rope? I don't know.
Antonio? Please clarify. I don't know.
Maybe your mic cable?
Oh, maybe because when I took him, he took the rope with him. I don't know. Oh man. Okay. Just catching up. I'm just reading through yours and making sure I haven't. You guys. Okay. You want to? I'm doing that.
Oh, sorry.
I can do it. Well, because.
Well, we're gonna respond to this video.
Yeah, let's start with this video. Yeah, it's really no big people are such.
People are fighting about the VAXX in the chat. I say one gentleman there said that there's some sort of entity or something that wants to reduce the population, which is always weird. It's always a strange argument when they're like, corporations want to kill off people, so they kill off their customers. It's a weird argument. Don't understand it.
Well, let's move on because everything is
VAXX related in the chat. There was a black rope, says Heisenbug. I think that was your mic cable.
Yeah, that was the mic cable. Okay, let's begin with the topic of veganism, which is why we're here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Look, he has a pothos plant too.
Yeah. So there's this
there's this
video on a YouTube channel called Jubilee. And cue the comments when the live stream is replayed, but the video actually starts here. So the video is actually starting now.
Some people care to know how Antonio and Jackie and Rue are doing, especially if you guys have been with us for a while. You know, it's like catching up. Yeah. We're catching up. For those of you who haven't been on here for a while, just start the video where you want to start the video.
That's fine. And we're at the, this won't tell me the minute mark, but I can look at it here. Anyway, whatever minute and second it is, now we're going to start responding to Is Eating Animals Wrong? Hunters versus Vegans Middle Ground on the Jubilee channel, which has 6.55 million subs.
Darkest Stag, just to answer your question, do you think I can get banned or sued if I use someone's video in my YouTube vid? Not if it's a commentary.
Yeah.
Like if you literally take someone else's video and play it as is on your channel, then yeah, it will probably get taken down and you will be cited for copyright infringement. But if it's a critique, no problem.
Fair use is like you can comment and critique and respond to other people's material, but you can't just like take someone's stuff and play it on your channel with no context.
Garuda Legend says the channel Jubilee is trash. I never heard about it before.
Yeah, we just saw this. It's pretty recent too. Just like June, like a month and a half ago ish. So they Morgan's like, yes, let's talk about veganism. Let's do it. So they had this minute 30 ad at the beginning, so we've skipped ahead of that. And let us know if you can hear the video.
Morgan, a lot of different, find a way to make a difference in the world. But thank you again to Forage. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Should be.
We'll see you next time.
If we were all born like 3 centuries from now, the world has been globalized and like agriculture can reach every corner of the globe. How would that affect, if at all, your views or your choices?
Am I going to be judged if I say not at all?
I became vegan because I could no longer think about eating something that was once living and breathing.
The primary thing
I would say someone that was once living, but we like. But it's good. It's good.
that keeps me vegan is just always the animal liberation. The idea that we are trying to push our ideas onto others. That stereotype I've experienced the most.
Hunting is a very hard concept for people to understand. I am in Texas, it's a lot more acceptable, even though being a woman who hunts, people still, have a really hard time with that concept.
I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I don't care what ethnicity you are, or if you're a child. Unfortunately, children are usually influenced by their parental figures. I don't care. Hunting,
Well, she's like, it's a hard thing to understand a woman who hunts. I don't understand why that's hard. You're a woman, and you go into the woods, and you shoot animals with a gun at long range.
What's so hard to understand
It's
about
not hard
that?
to understand. Let us know in the chat, guys. Is our volume and the video volume, is it well balanced? Because it looks well balanced on the mixer, which you can see up here.
Oh,
That's the top bar is the.
this is our first time doing this.
Yeah, this is our first time doing audio output, so let us know if there's any problems.
Have I seen this one?
I feel like a lot of people think vegans are more effeminate. People will question your sexuality oftentimes.
I grew up in a rural village, living off the land. The way we live is in total respect to the animals, and I think there's so much that people do not know about Indigenous culture.
Okay, so that's their little intros.
Yeah. So 2 hunters and 3 vegans. Oh, unfortunately, one cast member was unable to attend the day of filming. Yeah, it's always funny, like when, I've noticed that too, like when you have multiple vegans debating multiple meat eaters, it seems like the meat eaters are usually the ones that want to back out of the debate. They don't want to show their face on camera.
Well, we don't
They don't
know.
want to.
We don't know what happened.
Well, I just find it interesting that the 3 vegans are there and the 1 hunter backed out.
My name is Danny. I'm queer, I'm vegan, and I'm multiracial.
Hi, my name is Don Marvens. I've been a vegan for coming on 6 years now. I'm a freelance photographer and I recently moved to the LA area.
My name is Nina. I'm 24. I've been vegan for coming up on 5 years now, and I'm a professional astrologer.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm Koyukon Dene from Alaska. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I went to school in the California area, and I'm currently on a road trip visiting friends to learn whose land I'm on.
I'm Carly. I'm from Texas. I'm a wife, a mom. I also do sales and marketing consulting.
The first prompt is,
Okay.
I care
Real
about
quick.
animals' well-being.
What are you doing, hon?
Sorry.
What do you-
Louis said your audio is lower than the video audio, so I've just made some adjustments here.
Okay.
Let us know.
Everyone says it's good. It's good.
Good.
Okay.
Walk forward if you agree that you care about animals' well-being. And everyone
Is
walks
that
forward.
surprising to y'all that 2 hunters walked over?
I would love to hear why. Yeah, I would love to hear it.
Hunters have the utmost respect for animals. And I think that's a really hard thing for people to see.
Yes, that is
Really
true.
hard people.
It's not hard for me to understand that you're a woman, you're a female hunter. It is
It is
hard
hard to
for me to
understand.
understand that you care about animals when you kill them.
Yeah, the reason it's almost completely antithetical. Like it's almost like they're two opposite ideas: is loving and respecting animals, shooting animals needlessly in the woods. It's almost like there's a Venn diagram where it's just 2 circles side by side and they don't intersect at all.
Can you love something and respect something that you kill?
Again, not something.
Someone.
When you love someone, like, let's just replace the word. She said when you love something and you respect something that you kill.
Yeah.
Let's just replace the word thing with one. When you love someone, you respect someone that you kill. Does that sentence make any sense?
Right. It's weird because I think people remove personhood from animals. We know animals have a
But they are persons.
Yeah, they
It's
have
a textbook
a
definition.
they have a subjective experience of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like it's not some obscure science. It's just so
No, it's just
Fact.
factual. It's just
okay.
factual information. Like, nouns are persons, places, and things, right? So animals are not places, animals are not things. Animals are not objects. They're not televisions or cameras or tables or spoons. Inanimate objects, right? Those aren't animals.
Okay.
It's just a hard concept, right? Conservation is a big reason why I hunt. It not only provides food for my family, but I can shoot a certain number of deer each year, and that will keep that population and that herd thriving.
I guess
Really?
It'll keep the population
Really?
thriving by
'Cause-
killing them?
Well, but that's a misconception. They love to say that, don't they? They love to say that, but I don't see anyone taking gene or DNA samples from the animals they're shooting to see if they're shooting, because hunters generally go for the biggest,
Yeah. The big buck.
the big, you know,
The huge antlers, right?
they don't care who. They're not like wondering if that particular animal is the leader of the herd, or if that animal is pregnant, or they don't care. How can you say that you are helping conservation? You would have to be a scientist and have, I mean.
Well, it's funny to me that hunters will go, well, we need to kill the deer to control the deer population. And then when the deer population gets small, they're like, well, we need to kill the wolves because the wolves are going to kill the deer, but we want to kill the deer. So we need to kill the wolves, keep that population in check. And then we're going to kill the deer, keep that population in check. And we're going to breed cows and pigs and keep them on this farm so that we can kill them and eat them. But then we also have to kill the coyotes and the raccoons
because they're going to
and the
eat
mountain lions.
The cows and the pigs.
They're going to kill the cows and the pigs that we want to kill. So we're going to do all the killing. We're going to do all the killing, all of it in this area for conservation reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I've never really came at this conversation from like an angle of vegans versus hunters. It's always vegans versus a meat eater.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand, in a sense, the respect you have to what you're doing. I just know.
What? A vegan is saying this. Hold on.
He might not be an ethical.
How long did he say he'd been vegan for? But see,
I don't know.
That's.
He might not be a vegan activist. He might just be a vegan.
A plant-based eater, because.
Well, he could still be vegan. He could still be vegan in his life, but he might not have experience doing activism. What was that?
It was rude, but I think it's okay.
You okay, Bubby?
But saying that you understand
the
respect that you have for the animals you kill as a vegan, to me sounds redonkulous.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to make peace.
I think he's trying to be a gentle approach.
Yeah, and that's what we call a doormat vegan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Although, I have to say too about this hunter woman who lives in Texas. She's like, not only can I kill a few deer per year and feed my family. My question would be to you, middle-aged mother living in Texas. Do you ever go to McDonald's or Starbucks or Applebee's or Burger King or Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Because if you do, then you're not hunting to feed your family. You're hunting because you like it. Now, listen, again, from West Virginia. I'm from a red state. I have family members who hunt. You know why people hunt in West Virginia? Because they like it. They like doing it. They like it. November rolls around, it starts to get cold. They like to go out in the woods at 4 a.m. and wait in a tree and shoot deer. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But that's why people do it. They do it because they like it. They like guns. They like buying guns. They like going in the woods and shooting animals.
Yeah.
It's not a necessity thing. They go through the drive-through at McDonald's on their way to hunt. It's crazy.
Okay, let's catch up with you guys real quick. No, I saw something I wanted to read. Yeah, Bo says, I don't respect all humans, but I don't kill humans I don't respect.
That's true.
Yeah, Angry Vegan says, so what she's saying is victimizers have the utmost respect for their victims.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You could replace the victim and just say like...
I'm gone with the conservation argument. I know, Frida, I know. I know. Humans are the most invasive species on the planet, Morgan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yet, I don't think that this woman would advocate hunting humans for conservation because humans are encroaching on the environment.
We are the most invasive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always have the non-confrontational vegans. Yep.
Oh, Louis Gato says, pick me vegans. That's David Ramsey's
yes,
phrase.
pick
Yeah.
me
Pick
vegans.
me vegans.
Like,
or we call them doormat
like
vegans.
Me, like I want to be liked. That's like I want to be everyone's friend at the party. Like you can be friends with everyone at the party and still stand up for the animals with conviction. Not saying like, you understand that you have respect. No. Okay, move on.
No, that I could never do that.
Yeah, and I think that for me is one of my maybe more bigger issues is not with vegans, but it's more people who eat meat but don't understand hunting. So you're going to eat meat that was slaughtered at a factory. But I can't just give a deer one swift, great bullet in the heart where it dies out where it's supposed to die.
I was one of those people that
Hold
said I
on.
could never eat.
She said how it's supposed to die.
Out where it's supposed to die.
Out where it's supposed.
Out where, like she's killing them in nature
In nature, in their home.
rather than in a slaughterhouse. So it's better.
It's like being shot in your own house.
Yeah.
Versus out on the street.
Well, I think
I
that-
don't know which is worse. I would rather not die
No,
anywhere.
that is California law. If you go to sleep in your own bed and then someone shoots you, they're not guilty of murder because you died. I'm kidding.
Oh my
I'm
God.
kidding.
Brian.
That's where you're supposed to die, in your own bed. So if you get murdered in your own bed,
See, I still
Your
fall-
Honor,
I still fall
Your Honor.
for his sarcasm.
I would argue that to a judge. Your Honor, I murdered this person in their own bed, to be fair.
Even be vegetarian. Like I was probably like the people that you're describing, just not having a connection to what they're eating. I didn't think about it. And then as streaming services go, I found a little documentary through the suggestions.
But it changed your life.
And it changed my life. And like I remember I went to brunch that morning and I had like sausage and egg and like fried cheese. And then that night I watched this documentary. And so that's why I'm vegan, because I can't support like us as an industry and as a populace, like removing the choice from that large of a swath of animal populations just
Bingo.
because they're animals.
If there was a solution, like just the magic happens, the skies part, and all the meat is like done in a way that is humane.
Why is that the solution? If there was a magic solution, I would say the magic solution would be the world goes vegan. That would be a magical solution.
Can we back it up? Let's just let's just listen to the language she uses.
Sure.
If all the meat that were done were humane.
We're humane.
If all the animals who were killed what you think is nicely, what you think is humane, but it's funny she can't use the words, hunters, that's a very common thing. They use words like harvest or euphemisms.
Yeah. They're not
It's like crazy how
not
much
needlessly shooting animals in the woods.
play it.
A solution, like
Just because they're animals.
if there was a solution, like just the magic happens, the skies part, and all the meat is like done in a way that is humane, would that make you more inclined to eat meat?
I think that you sort of get into the fundamentals of like, is it humane to kill something? I have to understand and respect and honor that, like in indigenous cultures, there's many reasons why people hunt. We would all be remiss if we didn't admit that, at a time in human history, like we needed animal protein and animal meat to survive. But today, it's not necessarily a necessity.
I was being taught ethical hunting by an
Do you need help? Ethical hunting. Wow. Is that like humane slaughter? Is that
I don't think
Okay.
I've heard that one that often. I
Hunting.
think that one caught me by surprise.
Yes. You live in Texas, ma'am. You live in Texas. You don't live in the Northwest Territories of Canada. You live in Texas, in the United States. You don't need to hunt.
It was anxiety eating.
So there is no such thing as ethical hunting in Texas in the United States. There isn't. Sorry. Just like where I'm from, West Virginia. There's no such thing as ethical hunting in West Virginia. When you can go to a Kroger and buy plants.
What does she
You
mean?
don't need to do it.
We kind of paused it on a crazy.
Oh yeah, her face
That's
is a little
what that would be the meme, the meme picture.
ethical hunting though with this picture. Can someone make that meme? I was taught ethical hunting. Okay.
Okay. Hold on. Let me catch up with you guys really quick. Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh,
right.
Julian says somebody asked the hunters what it would take to disrespect an animal. That's true.
I mean, in their
Shooting them in the heart is
in their opinion, factory farms are
that's
disrespectful.
Yeah.
I mean, which they are, but
Well, because they get a knife across their throat versus the deer in the woods, they get a bullet through their heart. So way more respectful to shoot someone. In the heart.
Tomar is so right. Hunters have the worst sense of entitlement. And let me just say, thank goodness, I mean, as you know, our last live stream, we talked about why we're not on Instagram anymore. Yeah. But aside from that, when we were, and I would see all these like trophy hunting, trophy hunters only exist because of social media, because otherwise who would they show off to?
Yeah, who do you brag to?
Yeah, I mean, and yes, it comes off. It is entitlement. It is also it screams insecurity, because if you feel proud of victimizing an innocent, defenseless animal with your weapon, then what does that say about your self-esteem? Yeah, humane murder. No, can't say I know what it looks like. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
An ethical hunter. And again, I think that's a hard...
This dude, like, ethical hunter.
Again, I think that's a hard thing for people to understand.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to understand why a woman would hunt. It's hard to understand how you can hunt and respect animals, and it's hard to...
Oh boy! Hold on.
Hold on, babe. Babe.
I know. Okay, sorry. That's because, sorry guys, because I can just take my mic off if it's an emergency, because Jackie is cuddled next to Rue, and sometimes she stands up and walks over. She walks over his tail. Oh my goodness.
What's going on?
I'm still tangled up. Okay.
What?
I'm still tangled
You might
up.
be out of...
No, I'm not. Are you okay? Okay, we're okay. We just gotta move over. I know, Bubby. Oh, do. Do you want to come here with Mommy? Do you want to come here? Here, let's bring you over. Let's bring you over. Bubby's gonna come with Mommy.
Hi, little rooster.
All right, let's unpause. Whoops, sorry, Antonio. I'm like in the... Okay.
Come here, big handsome boy.
We'll just bring you on to...
harder concept here, because trust me, like, they're asshole hunters. But that's what I saw conservation, and I saw ethical hunting, and I saw why we do it, and I saw the food. You know, I haven't bought beef, I mean, in 6-7 years.
Can I ask you a question that I'm kind of scared to ask?
And we'll see.
So you said that you're a mother.
Well, she said she hasn't bought beef in 6 years.
Uh-huh.
So she hasn't killed cows.
She hasn't contributed to the murder of cows.
Yes. But did she say she hasn't bought cheese or eggs or chicken or fish or... Yeah.
And if you think of
Back it up because we can hear her question.
Why we do it, and I saw the food. You know, I haven't bought beef, I mean, in 6-7 years.
Can I ask you a question that I'm kind of scared to ask?
And we'll see.
So you said that you're a mother, and if you think of like Bambi, do you ever consider the small baby animals that you're taking their parents away from them?
Okay. So Bambi doesn't exist. Right. That's a Disney movie. If a mom is there with her yearlings, you would never kill that mom, right? You wait until she kicks them out of the house.
And that's part of like ethical hunting.
Was he being sarcastic? And that's part of ethical hunting? Is he being sarcastic?
But how do you know if the mom, like if the mom's not with her yearlings, maybe she's away from her yearlings, and you don't know that her yearlings are somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
You don't see the yearlings. You still shoot the mom and eat the mom.
There was an Instagram video not long ago about a hunter who shot a deer, and the other, I don't know if it was her mate or partner or child that was growling. Remember, it was a deer that was growling at the hunter.
I think it was her male partner.
Yeah.
I think it was, they shot a female deer and the male showed up.
Male showed up and he was growling at the hunter and his son. And I don't know if you guys remember that video, but it always sort of stayed with me. Like, you don't know who you're, you don't, and plus she said, so to avoid that, you wait until she leaves the baby.
No, she says she said you wait until the mother kicks the yearlings out of the house, like until the yearlings are grown up. But if the mother's not standing next to her children, you don't know that she doesn't have children. Like if you go shoot a woman on the street You don't know if she's a mom or not, right? Because she's not with her kids at that moment.
Yeah, what if she's pregnant and you can't see her, what if she's in the early stages of pregnancy too? Oh my gosh.
My God, okay.
Right. That's a Disney.
And again, don't be afraid to ask those questions.
and
That's
also-
I know they're trying to be like very
They're
respectful.
trying to be gentle
very
vegans.
Yeah.
I think if you and I auditioned for this video, we wouldn't make the cut.
No.
Because we'd be too aggressive for Jubilee. I thought when she said you're a mother, I thought she was going to bring up dairy.
Yeah, but
then she brought up Bambi.
Yeah, but since we're on the subject,
You would never kill that mom, right? You wait until she kicks them out of the house.
And that's part of like ethical hunting.
That is like, no one really, like you wait until the babies are kicked out.
I learned from my
But no one asks a follow-up as to like, how do you know if the babies have been kicked out? Like, how do you know that a mother deer has already kicked her yearlings out?
I'm like so kind of bothered by this guy because the way he asked the question is he's like, so that's what you consider ethical hunting, or the way he phrased it seemed like he was almost like trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, there's no understanding this. Like I'm listening.
Yeah,
I can understand if I were you in your frame of mind how I might construe that to justify my actions to make them seem not as bad as they are. But I cannot, from my point of view as a vegan animal rights activist, cannot conceive, factually speaking, of how you could go kill an animal. You don't know that if they're a mother, if they're a child, if they're the strongest one in the herd or the weakest one, if they're sick, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
I wish you would have phrased it like, so that's part of ethical hunting is shooting a mother after her children have grown up.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, I don't know if that's the direction he was going, but.
Babies are kicked out.
I learned from my Tlingit cousins, they're from the southeastern Alaska. They're the ones that invented the fish hook. It was so wide that only a full-grown halibut could get caught. It's a generational thought. You're not just thinking about, oh, I need food tonight. You're like, how do I make sure I protect their natural processes? When fish hooks are made now, anything can go out. So many of our pre-colonial traditions were staying in balance with animals, and we had so many practices that prevented overhunting. And the people who are living off the land, who are fighting for the land, are getting last priority. We're not allowed to fish if there's commercial fishing. We're constantly being watched and fined. It's constantly having land taken away. If you look at any community, it's constantly happening to them where they're told they're not allowed to do this or eat this. It's all connected, it's all a cycle.
Let's pause for one sec. That is something I remember in Seaspiracy.
Yes.
They were talking about with Somalia, was it? That these, not that this justifies the small fishermen or the corporate fishermen. Nothing justifies killing animals for food.
No.
When you don't have to.
But I mean, like, this whole like these culture though arguments are very confusing because she just said like she went to college in California, right, and she's on a road trip. Like, yes, perhaps you come from a culture, like we all come from a historical culture of some kind, right? Mm-hmm. And just because something at one point in time was part of the culture that you come from, it doesn't mean that it's ethical. It just means it's a culture that you come from. So, like, if I were to use the same argument and just say like, well, listen, I know it's 2021, where we live in modern times, but occasionally, like, I just want to return to a time in my culture where you were my property. That's just that's just part of my culture. There are many relatives, many great grandparents before me. The men bought the women from their fathers and they got a dowry and they treated them like second-class citizens. And I could hit you a little bit here at the house and no one would say anything. Like, I just want to return to that occasionally. It's not a good argument.
No.
It's not an ethical argument. So just because something is part of a culture or once was part of a culture, it has nothing to do with ethics. So is commercial fishing bad? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Is small-scale fishing bad? Yes.
Joni, don't you just eat and poop and sleep too? I'm just like looking.
All they do is eat and poop and sleep?
Yeah. And
an animal?
And your statement, they don't benefit us except for food. Animals don't need to benefit you. They're independent. What is the word I'm looking for that starts with the A?
Agent?
They're
Independent agent? What?
Well,
Independent, autonomous?
autonomous. Autonomous beings. They have no interest in benefiting you. You are not el culo del mundo, señor o señora. You can translate that later. But yeah, I don't even have to get, for me, like having Rue, Antonio, and Jackie here gives me joy. But even like, that's not why I have them here. That's not why we have them here. We're trying to help them live a fulfilling life. That's because they deserve that. Because there is no reason to cause them suffering.
No.
So that is.
And as someone said earlier in the chat, right? Too, you can not have respect for other humans, or you can not like other humans. You don't have to love and care for and adore every single human being in order to not murder human beings willy-nilly. It's
okay. Let's move on. Oh, Lauren Elizabeth.
Lauren Elizabeth, thank you.
You're sweet. Okay, moving on. Oh, I'm sorry.
The next question.
Veganism is a privileged way of living.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go again. We covered this in the
Veganism
last
is
3
a
videos.
privileged way of
If you
living.
have a choice of where you get to get your food.
Interesting. One vegan and one hunter don't agree with that statement. So it's interesting.
What?
Because I think they give you a statement and then you walk forward if you agree with it. And so they said veganism is a privileged way of living. The one vegan stayed behind and the one hunter stayed behind.
Oh.
So the hunter who lives in Texas knows that she can go to Kroger and buy plants. So she knows it's not privileged.
Okay.
Food and where it comes from, and even
I'm sorry. All 3 vegans walked forward. Whoops.
Okay.
I thought it was only 2.
Back it up. Just listen to her from the beginning.
If you have a choice of where you get to get your food and where it comes from, and even knowing about it is a privilege.
To have the choice to be vegan, that includes, makeup and clothing and all of these things. And, sustainable clothing, for example, is a top dollar if you're trying to buy it new. And thrifting is great, but some people don't even have access to that. And so I think that choice is a privilege and veganism is a choice.
I was born in Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and the fact that my parents were able to leave with me when I was just like 1 year old into the States, like really shaped how my life would go. The lifestyle that I'm living is such a stark contrast from the people down in the Caribbean.
I feel like I have to talk about how veganism, especially in the States and especially in like the global West, has been totally co-opted by I'm just gonna say it, by whiteness. Vegan.
Oh, for Christ's sake. And a vegan.
Guys, we did a whole video responding to Impact's white veganism post. You can find it in our channel. Veganism has nothing to do with whiteness. There is nothing inherently white, whatever that means, white, about veganism. Veganism is the ethical belief that animals shouldn't be exploited. Last time I checked, you can be any color and believe that. There is nothing to, and he just said the global West. And I remember David Rams had that debate with a young woman who said, well, maybe Western veganism would be a better term for white veganism.
Yeah.
And he said, well, then why don't you use Western veganism if that's what you mean?
That makes more sense.
If you're talking about rich Western countries have non-white people in them.
Yeah.
A lot of not white people in the United States. A lot of not white people in Canada and Australia and the UK and Europe. Like, why is this a thing? And She's saying like if you have any sort of choice, that's a privilege. I mean,
I
don't
feel
know
like
where we
people,
draw the line.
I understand that, you know, food deserts exist, food scarcity exists. That is a thing. But if you look around, like if you live in a bustling metropolis, which is a lot of cities in the United States and around the world, there are, I mean, you go, the places there are supermarkets everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the people who, you know, we can't cater to the fringe issues. We're trying to reach the most people, the people who can make that choice, who won't for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's who we direct our activism to.
Well, it's interesting too that like the hunter on the right brings up the topic of like, well, all these commercial fishing industries have sort of pushed her culture out of the way, right? Well, who are the commercial fishing industries fishing for? Rich Westerners.
Yeah.
Rich Westerners. So rich Westerners are contributing to the very thing that this hunter is against. But then the vegan comes along and says that like, well, no, it's Westerners that have the privilege to choose veganism. It's like, no, Westerners are choosing meat, clearly because they're funding the commercial fishing industry.
Yeah.
And they're funding the factory farmed meat industry and eggs and dairy. So rich Westerners are buying a lot of animal products.
Yep.
It's not a veganism thing.
It's not a white.
It's not. Well, it's not a. I'm saying veganism isn't inherently a product of like Western culture or whiteness, because a lot of white people and a lot of people in rich Western cultures aren't vegan. The majority aren't. They buy animal products.
Oh, can I have a tissue, my love? Or
Yeah.
is that clean?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just part of the issue we're having right now.
We have a little saliva buildup, huh, baby?
Yeah. Well, getting that's looked at tomorrow.
Let's see here.
Let me see. Okay.
Tamar says the native is in California now, so what's her excuse behind not being
Right,
vegan?
right.
Exactly.
She went to, what did she say, UCLA?
She went to,
or
I don't think she said the university, but she went to school in California.
So yeah, what is the excuse, I wonder?
Lauren Elizabeth says, Anna and Brian, what foods satiate you the most?
The
I
one
would
we
say
ate.
beans and potatoes for sure.
Yes, beans and potatoes. Oh, so good.
Legumes and, I mean, anything starchy is gonna satiate. Like, I think potatoes have one of the highest satiety levels of all foods. They fill you up and they keep you feeling full for a really long time.
Okay.
Frida says no, not again with the white veganism. And this was I think this was before Impact's post.
Oh, can we get through this part?
Yeah, sorry. We'll keep on.
Veganism shouldn't be a privilege, in my opinion, but it is. Like the world that we live in now, it is.
Again, is it a privilege to believe that it's wrong to exploit animals? To just believe that?
Yeah.
And then in the definition of veganism, it's baked in that you do whatever you can that is possible and practicable.
Oh,
I don't know enough about being a vegan. I think of it as like something that rich white people do, but I don't know.
Why? You're a rich white person and you hunt. What? She's a rich white American.
And we assume this because she has because owning a gun kind of thing, is that considered a luxury? Like, I don't know.
I'm saying if you live in the United States, you're rich. I mean, on a global scale, like you're rich. You're rich.
Not everyone.
No,
let's not blanket that, because that's very not factual.
Well, how did she? No, I'm saying the United States is a very privileged place to live, to be born in and live.
For many.
I think, like, globally speaking, if you earn more than like $30-something thousand a year, you're in the global 1%. It's like, it's crazy.
I mean, everyone, even like, I mean, I always tell my people in Costa Rica, everyone views living in the United States as this like huge goal to attain. Like, everyone wants to move here because it's just economically better, I guess. And it's so sad because my country's so beautiful. I'm like, no, don't. So stay there. It's okay. Stay there. You have like Costa Rica has some of the most effective conservation laws. No hunting is banned. Still have to do away with sports fishing. We are one of one of the most green countries in the world.
Yes.
In terms of emissions and things like that. So I find that to be more desirable.
Yes, than the quote unquote American. Well, the reason why I'm making the assumption about this woman, I think at the beginning she said like she's a mom, a wife, a hunter, and she works in advertising and marketing. And if we're talking, like, I guess we need to define what do you mean by rich? Do you mean globally rich or rich for the United States? Because those are two different things.
Yeah, like
so,
what, I don't know what people think of as rich.
When
like,
people say like privileged, well, what do you mean by privileged?
Like I feel. I mean, we're not millionaires by any means.
No.
We struggle.
Not at all. Nowhere near that.
But I consider myself privileged because we are able to own a house. I mean, we're able to own a house in LA. That is, it's our first home. We worked super hard to get it, 35 years. And I feel rich in that way. I feel rich because I have animals who I love, and I feel rich because we can, I don't know, spend time outside in our little backyard, and we have plants all around. I don't know what people's interpretation.
Well, I don't know what
rich
people
is
mean
mostly
by
economical.
Rich. I think, like, I have a vehicle that I can drive. Now, can I go buy a brand new Ferrari tomorrow? No, I can't afford that. You know what I mean? Can I go buy a mansion in the Hollywood Hills tomorrow? No, I can't afford that.
Who would want those
but
things?
I can go to the grocery store and I can buy groceries for the week.
Yeah.
Like so am I rich? And again, we need to talk about like, well, globally versus, in the county, especially in Los Angeles, we are not rich at all. But if you compare us to someone living in another country, we probably are rich.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming she's at least a middle class woman living in Texas who has the expendable income to pay for hunting equipment and go hunting. I'm assuming she's fairly well off, or at least well off enough to buy potatoes instead of shoot deer.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about being a vegan. I think of it as like something that rich white people do, but I don't know. I don't know any vegans. I don't know how much money it costs.
Yeah, a lot of people also from lower income backgrounds or areas, they also rely on fast food, and that stuff is really cheap because, as far as I understand, the government subsidizes meat and animal products much more than it does vegetables.
When we think about someone who has to work a low-wage job to survive, you also have to think they're probably working more than one job, possibly. You want the easiest meals. You want the highest calorie meals because you're working and you're burning so many calories. So when you're saying, why don't you eat more plant-based? You're asking them to change their shopping habits. You're asking them to spend more time. You're asking them to educate themselves. And when you are working that hard, you have to numb yourself. You are eating to survive. That is different than choosing what you're eating.
I don't know if going through In-N-Out drive-through is eating to survive.
Yeah. I mean, and people fail
I know the point she's trying to make.
People fail to realize about to talk about the long-term costs, like when it comes to health. The money that you will be spending in your later years to try to resolve the issues that have been building up from all those years of consuming carcinogenic animal flesh and saturated fat and cholesterol. That's all going to catch up to you. It may be cheap. It may appear cheap. It may be the thing that you can afford in the moment, the $1 value meal kind of thing, but it's not going to sustain you health-wise. Do you mind holding him for a little bit? I have to stretch.
My boy.
He's a hefty boy.
Hey,
we have to
come here, handsome.
watch out.
Who's me, handsome?
Don't kick yourself. Okay.
Let's stay up here with me.
Hold on.
Come here, Bubby.
Oh, hold his neck up, hon. Okay. Hold on.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
No. Okay.
Come here, sweetheart. I know. Hold on.
Es patita.
Yep. Just switching
Hold it.
sides. Doop, 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 doop.
Ruru is
I know, sweet bubby.
okay. And you, hold on, everybody, calm down. You just get back on here.
Hi.
Doko, doko, doko. I know. Okay,
This is Fire-Roo.
let's move on.
Totally. And it's not fair to like ask any of those people in survival mode to completely like shift their way of life and learn a whole new lifestyle. And I definitely agree with that. I'm just curious, like, if we were all born like 3 centuries from now, the world has been globalized and like agriculture can reach every corner of the globe, how would that affect, if at all, your views or your choices?
Am I going to be judged if I say not at all?
I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm going to eat meat. I don't want to say there's no reason to not eat meat, but there's maybe no reason for me not to eat meat.
I get it.
I'm feeling judged.
I'm not judging,
you
but
know-
but I don't understand. I'll be honest, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
I mean, like I still cry when I kill something. I mean, I love the animals, but they're still just animals. Like, it's okay to eat one. Everyone's been eating meat forever.
That's true.
You know, and
It's been a
there's
long
never
time
been a
practice.
culture.
Let me just listen to this part again.
I love the animals, but they're still just animals. Like, it's okay to eat one. Everyone's been eating meat forever.
That's
They're
true.
still just
You know, and-
animals, and it's okay to eat one.
Everyone's been eating meat forever. So again, typical level
Okay.
0 carnist arguments. She cries.
tradition.
Yeah, appeal to tradition. She cries when she kills animals, but we've been eating meat for a long time, and they're just at the end of the day, they're just animals. Really, dude?
Well, why do you cry when you kill them if they're
I
just
feel
animals?
bad for people's children who are like this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hold on. Okay.
I think that's a pretty good point, right? Why does she cry
Yeah.
if they're just animals?
Yeah. It's weird.
Why do you cry?
Are you trying to sound compassionate, or are you?
Or do you just not care?
Are you fighting your compassion?
Yeah.
It's been a
There's
long
never
time
been a
practice.
culture ever that was 100% vegan. You know, they have shifted. They're plant-based and Mediterranean and Buddhist, and they have moved towards a culture who was 100% vegan. I don't think has ever existed.
But
there-
who cares?
there's never
So
been a-
so now we're a culture who's vegan. Like the 3 to 5% of us who are vegan, we're growing in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares if it's never existed? Make it exist.
But there's also never been a culture in human history that's been free of murder. So might as well murder, because I mean, no culture in history has ever been murder-free. So you might as well murder.
Yeah. Frida is absolutely right. Too much nodding. Thought this was going to be a debate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 3 doormat vegans versus
Yeah.
a few hunters that are making horrible arguments.
I guess that's what Jubilee's about. It's just non-confrontational
Look at
shit.
Morgan Hamilton.
Where?
It's so hard to make minor changes.
Poor me, I know, right? Me. Me, ah.
Yeah, is it harder for the animals or for the
Yes.
people making the changes at the grocery store?
Yeah. It's called the me disease. It's like, well, I am always going to eat meat because I like the taste of meat. It's like me and I. And it's just so
Well, Tamar says EBT.
vomiticious.
Tamar up there. Tamar says EBT covers plant foods, and they're actually pretty cheap if you're on welfare.
And get food stamps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you can make that choice.
That is a frustrating thing, though, Rice.
And rice feeds so many more people. Like rice and beans and, it's just catching up. History doesn't justify morality. No, it don't, Morgan says. Yeah, 5-pound bag of potatoes is under $2 for sure. Remember that time we went to, was it Costco? And we were looking, like we held that huge bag of potatoes up, and it was like, we took a picture.
Oh no, there was a carrot. There was at Vaughn's. There was carrots.
No,
No.
we
This
were
was
at
potatoes?
a Costco, and
Oh,
it was
okay.
potatoes. I remember. It was like we took a picture next to the price tag, as it was like this whole bag of potatoes for. I forget how much they were, but
Right, at Vaughn's too, they had a 25-pound bag of carrots.
yeah, they.
It's the most carrots I've ever seen.
Frida vegan, they are so obsessed with getting along, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, please.
It sounds like it's a natural order kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting to hear because I'm firmly of the belief that like we are animals. So for me, the natural order perspective doesn't hold a lot of water.
Do you guys have pets?
Ask.
Like, in other parts of the world, what you would consider your pet, some people would eat.
But that's there. I mean, like I don't eat my dog, and I hope nobody don't eat my dog. But that's, you know, I mean, I can't worry about someone in China eating dogs. Like we can all try to make the world a better place. And
It's interesting though, because it does kind of challenge the natural order perspective.
Yes.
Like,
Where do you draw the line?
Right.
Something to think about in this conversation too.
The edits
the
in
editing,
this video are awful.
Yeah, like that was a good point, and then cut
then,
to new idea.
And also the guy that said, I'm of the belief that humans are animals. Not a belief, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
Humans are animals.
Order perspective. Like,
Where do you draw the line?
Right.
Something to think about in this conversation too is knowing that even when we eat plants, there's so many people that we're exploiting.
Yes.
The core of this, I think, is just having that respect for.
Not just
Avocados,
vegans
though.
eat plants. Not just vegans eat plants. Don't you eat plants? Don't you eat We are 3 to 5% of the population. How do people make this argument, and it's so ridiculous. We are not responsible for the avocado situation or the
asparagus situation.
or the quinoa situation. Like that business would not be able to support itself on 3 to 5% of the population. So yeah, it could be that vegans eat those foods, but we're not the ones, the majority. Like the thing is, we understand that there is exploitation. There is exploitation in farming, in agriculture, just like there is in factory farming. But we can't use that argument if you are also contributing to it.
Yeah. And who's eating the majority of the plants? The animals that we kill to eat. Like, who's going to eat more plants in a year? You or a 300-pound pig? I mean, come on. You or like an 800-pound cow? It's
but
ridiculous.
You're eating the animals who are eating the plants, and then more plants on top of that.
So farm workers are exploited to grow plants, and then slaughterhouse workers are exploited to slaughter animals, and meatpacking facility workers are exploited to package the meat and sell it to you. So like, if we're going to exploit workers, just exploit all of them, I guess, because you can't avoid it.
Your food.
I fully agree with that. I think it's such a falsehood when vegans say cruelty-free. The avocados that I eat, were harvested by people that are being exploited. So,
Do you guys consider hunting a privilege?
Isn't everything a privilege? To a point, right? A lot of people are going literally in their backyard, shooting something, processing it in their house, and putting it right on the table for their family. Like, that to me is beautiful. Hunting can be really expensive. You basically have to have a huge ranch, or you have to spend a ton of money to hunt on someone else's ranch. And then
That's her answer. So hunting is very expensive, which means she can afford it, which means she might be
So she's a rich white person who's not vegan. That's so weird, because veganism is only for rich white people. It's funny though that 2 minutes ago she was saying that, like, what, the Bubby's sleeping?
Yeah.
Are you napping?
He's tired.
Like 2 minutes ago in the video, she was saying how, in her mind, veganism is a privilege. And then when they go, well, isn't hunting a privilege? She's like, well, everything's a privilege.
Yeah. All right, let me
Dodging the question.
continue.
And I think what a lot of people see are, right, the trophy hunters and the going over to Africa and hunting. I have not done that yet. That does not mean that I am not for it or against it. I do know that tourism in Africa is a huge moneymaker for them. I mean, those villages are really poor, and having an entire animal and multiple animals that hunters give them it's big for them.
My question with that.
What?
Did hunters give them? What? Like they shoot animals in Africa and give them to the village? What? So So she's saying it's better to hunt in Africa because when rich people go to Africa, they end up giving money to the villages. So you shouldn't not trophy hunt because African villages though
benefit from I've also heard of what do you call the thing where like they end up killing the animal that they weren't supposed to kill, like it's not fraud. Is it fraud? No. Like sometimes there have been people who have shot not the wrong animal by accident, but like the villages themselves will often break the law to
hunt animals.
No. They will have them hunt the wrong animal. Like I'd have to find the article, but we can put a button on that for a minute. Okay, hold on.
That would just be, why would it have to be a tourist? It kind of just sounds like the white savior complex narrative.
Because we're willing to pay a load of money.
I remember reading a statistic about like a single elephant in its lifetime can garner over $1 million just from photographic tourism. One single elephant's ivory is about $21,000. So just that in itself, like to me, is evidence that like non-violent tourism, like non-trophy hunting tourism, like is just as lucrative, if not more lucrative than trophy hunting.
Hunting is only acceptable if it's for food.
Why are the vegan?
Oh, wait, I agree with this.
What?
Come on, Britt. I had to
If this was asked first, I would have disagreed. But after hearing your story, it is necessary to an extent.
If you're hunting for food, then you're saying that your life is more important than that other animal's life, and that is more reasonable to me than saying that your pleasure or your trophy or whatever is more important than an animal's life.
There's also safety, which I now realize, and it's like almost 2 hours if you needed a medical emergency evacuation. So yeah, I don't know any killing besides safety and like food, and then we still try to make the most out of the body and the fur, and we'll try to like feed it to the dog team. So
there is just the biology.
Because she doesn't. I think you're supposed to walk forward if you agree with the proposition being proposed.
Oh, she said, but she said before she didn't agree or disagree with trophy hunting, which would be the alternative to.
Which is why she didn't walk forward, because hunting is only acceptable if it's for food. Do you agree with that? Okay. And the 3 vegans walked forward. The 3 vegans.
Yeah.
Vegans walked forward.
Please.
Hunting is not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
Land, and there's biology of carrying capacity, and there's biology of how these animals have to be, taken care of.
Conservation, though.
I know that if people are not hunting, those deer are going to starve. There's not enough food, there's not enough water, there's not enough shelter.
Guess why? Because you're hunting the coyotes who are supposed to be naturally keeping the population in check. Oh, and you're encroaching on their, I mean, we live on their land. Every time a house is built, that is land that is taken away from the animals. Lovely.
Are you a sleepy boy?
I'm a sleepy, tired boy. No. Okay.
Me, I will take one for the team, and I will shoot a few deer this year to keep the land in check and the ecosystem in check.
But you're not taking.
I don't
one
disagree.
For the team. You're not taking one for. What?
I know. So but like I think Morgan said that her arguments are just so basic. Yeah. BS. Let me just back it up a second.
A few deer this year to keep the land in check and the ecosystem in check.
I don't disagree that maintaining equilibrium of an ecosystem is important. My question to that would be like, what's actually sitting at the root cause of the deer overpopulation? Is the root cause that people aren't hunting enough, or is the root cause that their land is being taken away? But me making assumptions hunting is a Band-Aid solution.
Like, I wish I could answer a very smart and like, well, based on data, done. I mean, look at Los Angeles and Dallas, and like, where are animals going?
Right.
They're dying. You know, I mean, but what is the solution? I don't know.
The US a lot of the times has tried to decide what animals need to go or not without the guidance of Indigenous people who have been doing this for thousands of years and who have relationships with the animals. There are solutions, there are people that know it, and we need to push people in power to uplift voices who have this knowledge.
My diet is healthier.
Oh, here we
No,
go.
it's not vegan related.
Well, yeah, this is not vegan related. Ah! What?
Yeah.
That guy stayed back.
Hey,
Yeah.
girl.
Hey.
He knows veganism is
The
not about
question
health.
is healthier than what? I chose to come up here because my diet is healthier than when I was not eating a vegan diet. I love a Beyond Burger. Is that healthier than eating rice, beans, and collard greens every day?
Nope.
No, it's not. Do I believe that eating plant-based is healthier than eating animal products? Yes.
And if you're super, super intentional and informed about what you're putting in your body, then it's going to be healthier than someone who's not.
That's also healthier on an emotional and mental level. There's this detachment, this emotional detachment that you're going through when you're eating an animal, and that to me is emotionally unhealthy. I think awareness is one of the healthiest things that we can have.
I know if you like search veganism like online, especially on YouTube, you can see very dangerous vegan diets being like just told to like a massive audience of like young impressionable people. Like, but like Oreos are vegan, Twizzlers are vegan, and it's been 1 a.m. and I'm down to sleep with Oreos. I'm just like, why did I do that? But
Just
it's
wait
vegan.
till you're 30.
Yeah, I'm 24, so I feel like I'll just keep on kicking. I don't know.
Coming here, I want to be very careful in extremes. Like, my meat is, you know, my diet is healthier. I don't know.
Not your meat. Not your meat. I know people say my meat. It's like not your
flesh
meat.
of an
It's
animal
not
that you
your
shot.
flesh. It's their flesh. It's not yours. Get off your freaking pedestal.
That I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you. I believe the meat I eat is better than what you would get at McDonald's. I just think it would be so
a high
hard
bar.
to be a vegan. Like, it seems like so much work.
There's a learning curve.
It's not hard in the grand scheme of things. I feel a lot better putting in the work because I feel more empowered, I guess you could say. The definition of veganism is just as far as what is practicable and possible.
Okay, she
It's
knows
all
it.
about doing your best.
Hey, thank
Let's all hug it out with the hunters. I don't think I'd go that far. I don't think I'd hug a hunter.
I honestly feel like the editing in that video was the worst part of the video.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Sometimes like these responses are so cringe because I'm just like, oh, can
Alright.
we get through this?
Yeah. Hi. Hey, my boy.
What did you think? I mean, that was just. Well, you know, some good points were brought up by the vegans. Some I can't say any good points were brought. I mean, some facts were brought up by the hunters. Mostly the what I forget what the other girl's name was. Not this woman, the blonde woman.
Carly,
Carly.
the hunter.
Yeah, she at one point she's like, you know, I wish I could answer that with like, I wish I had like the smart answer with like, well, based on the data, which means have you looked
Means
at
you
the
don't
data?
know what
Which
you're
means you don't know what you're talking about. Jeez.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I like shooting deer, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Good argument.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't know how far back you want me to go, but if you guys want to ask, if you want us to read your question, feel free to send us a super chat. You know where they go.
They go to this guy right here.
Yeah, because I realized we've missed a lot.
Hi.
And scrolling, it would just be me scrolling at this point, and we wouldn't be talking to you. So, well, we can just pick it up from here.
Oof. Frida says the hugging, OMG, LMFAO.
I know. Oh, it is hard to watch. It's hard to watch things like this where you feel like even like the vegans aren't like standing up for the animals with as much. It's very like, it feels like blah, you know? I didn't feel like there was anyone there with the conviction, the passion, you know, could you say the things you said, for example, while holding Ruru?
Right.
And looking into his eyes and being like, yeah, I understand what you mean about hunting, like an ethical, like really?
No. And the vegans,
Let me get you a blueberry.
like
I'll be right
the
back.
vegans were not offering enough pushback, I don't
Yeah.
think. They weren't offering a good counter argument.
No.
It seems like Jubilee just wanted a video where two opposing sides come together and go, yeah, man, it's cool. Hey, man, it's cool. Yeah, everyone, get along. Hugs and rainbows and butterflies. But no, like, you could kind of tell that Carly the hunter, like, I felt like she was getting frustrated
Really?
towards the end of the video.
Hold on, I need
She's
to
like,
wash
I
some.
can't worry about people in China eating dogs, guys. Like, I just can't worry about that. And
You're
it's like,
stepping on this.
sorry, you're wrapped around.
Okay. Yeah, like she's.
Like, it's like, okay. Like, what?
I know there's a
She
lot
just- it's
to
kind of
worry
like-
about, but it's like doesn't mean that you that you shouldn't have a belief about it. You might not be able to actively work against the cause, but you are allowed to believe that it's wrong. And she didn't even
Yeah.
say that.
No. And then, I mean, at the end there, she kind of, sort of a mask off situation where she was like, they're just animals, guys. I can eat one. People have been doing it forever. It's like, oh, okay. So you didn't really come to the conversation with like anything compelling to offer.
Yes,
Whoa.
this one.
Wow. Whoa. Good job.
This one?
Good job.
And I'm gonna try to find that article that I was talking about.
You're like blueberries.
Hold on.
You trying
Did
to
you
find
swallow it?
Hey.
Okay. Oh,
Why?
spit it out. Spit it out. There it goes.
Okay.
That's part of the issue we've been having.
We're
He's
taking
got a
you in tomorrow.
little mouth inflammation, and it's preventing him from. Food seems to be getting stuck. Huh? Did you swallow that one? Okay.
Good.
No. Did he?
Did you swallow?
Sometimes it's hard for him to eat when you're holding him.
Hey. Yeah, I think it's gone.
Okay. Yeah, he wants more. This one.
Aye.
Oh my gosh. Hold on.
Aye, aye, aye.
Oh, it has to face down so there's traction. Oh, there we go.
Good.
Okay, let's do one more, and then we'll give the other ones to Antonio.
You got it.
No, you got it. There
Good
we go.
job.
Okay, there
Good
we
job.
go. Antonio,
Good job.
get it? What is this?
Tamar Braxton's Edges just donated $6.99 Canadian. Super chat. Thank you so much, Tamar.
Thank you.
Fireroo, Antonio, and Jackie, thank you tremendously. Tamar says, it's a long video, but you can also watch Black Vegans on Grapevine if you're bored. Don't know that video, but maybe we'll check it out
Oh, well,
for next one.
yeah.
Well, we can see what it's all about.
Everything's on Grapevine.
Scott Gerstein says, I'm afraid those vegans simply didn't have the spine to hold the two animal murderers accountable. Yeah, I just wish like a little bit. But the other thing too, guys, about this video, like coming from two individuals who have worked in the field of, who have worked in the field of movies and television, editing is key. So you don't know what was edited out of this conversation.
Yeah.
The vegans could have offered really good pushback, and then the editors just did a jump cut to keep it sort of even keel. So you really don't know. Liv just donated $5. Thank you so much, Liv.
Thank you, Liv.
Liv has no message, but we appreciate the donation. Fireroo appreciates it.
Fireroo.
Right, Bubby?
You know, we should respond to this
It's almost
article.
nap time.
Trophy hunters, you're wrong, dead wrong. Why trophy hunting is on the wrong side of history and evolution. Well,
Yeah,
that
pretty
trophy
soon.
hunting is, I mean, even hunters who hunt for meat, for food, disagree with trophy hunters sometimes, I guess. But
There's going to be articles called "Why Eating Meat is on the Wrong Side of History" at some point. I mean,
yeah. Let me see if I can find this article. I forget what it's titled. That's what's going to.
what's it about?
The one where they like broke the law and they brought, because I think what happens is these hunting tourism, they come in and they're like, here, give me money, give us money, and then you can hunt these animals or one of these animals. And they actually shot like a matriarch, an elephant they weren't supposed to shoot or something, but they were like, oh, it's okay, kind of thing.
That's okay.
But I can't. I'll look for it and maybe bring it up in a future video.
Morgan Hamilton
that's
says
it.
it was edited. Yes, that was the point. And I don't know says they need to start releasing full non-edited ones.
I want to make it look. I mean,
Louis,
do me a favor. Where's that video? Can everyone give it a dislike?
Oh yeah, give the video a dislike.
No, so 34,000 likes. Well,
It's crazy.
I didn't really find it mind-blowing,
Well, yeah, this first comment, Book Camilla says, as someone who doesn't eat meat, I 100% think that hunting is better than the meat industry. Yeah, I mean, that's like saying, like, stabbing and shooting someone is better than just stabbing them. Or I mean, stabbing someone is better than stabbing them and shooting them. But it's not. It's like the woman, it's like the hunter woman who said, I think that eating hunted deer meat is better than McDonald's. It's like, well, yeah. And eating McDonald's is better than drinking bleach, but it's not a very high bar.
So this is an example. Casey Eckelkamp in the comments said, one of the few middle grounds where I didn't hate anyone in particular.
That means the vegans didn't do their job.
Right. You don't have to hate anybody, but you should work hard at trying to sway someone with valid arguments, with facts, with truth. And if someone watched this video and walked away without feeling any different about their own, like, this way, what's the Ellen DeGeneres thing that she's which way, like six
Ellen
to one,
DeGeneres?
the 6 to 1,
6 and 1/2 dozen of the other?
Yeah. Sorry.
6 of one and 1/2 dozen of the other.
Like,
Meaning like it could take it either way. But that's the thing, like non-vegans out there, their beliefs should be challenged by this type of debate. A good debate will challenge the beliefs of both sides. So even if you're a vegan and you go into a vegan versus non-vegan debate, a good non-vegan debater will make the vegan question things about their lifestyle, and a good vegan debater will make the non-vegan question things. It's just the nature of the debate. But it seems like, I know Louis Gato has said good point, but he still doesn't think that the vegans would have offered great arguments. And I would just say, like, you really don't, with the editing, it's really hard to know.
Bo, thank you so much. Hope this helps with your beautiful roosters and hens.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you. It
Thank
does,
you, Bo.
absolutely. It adds up, and it really, I mean, even like a medication can cost, what was it, Jackie's dewormer? Like,
it was like $23 or something.
Yeah, like $20-something. So, and that is helping her so tremendously. So yeah, it absolutely helps. Yeah, that's true, Frida. You have such good points. I've never seen someone say, I don't know, I really don't know, so confidently. But then the blonde hunter appeared. Fascinating how she just doesn't bother to learn or research anything. Yeah. Sorry, I think I just scared Antonio off his bed. I'm sorry. I know you're so sensitive to
Vanessa B just donated €5. Thank you so much, Vanessa B.
Thank you.
Vanessa B, Fireru, Antonio, and Jackie appreciate that.
Oh, hope Jackie gets the appointment tomorrow, feels better soon. I should bring her on. Actually, I wonder if you guys, I probably wouldn't be able to show you the wormies on her chest, but I'll bring her on just so you guys can see her.
Get Jacqueline.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Jacqueline without spilling anything
Good job.
or
You did a
tripping
good
over.
job.
Jacqueline!
You say hi.
Jackie!
Say
Come,
thank you,
come,
Vanessa.
chicken. Oh,
Say
it's
thank you, Vanessa B.
the sun is hitting. Let's pull this down.
Hey, my boy.
Come here, chicken.
Okay, Bubby.
Come here, chicken of love. Oh, my chicken of love. Oh.
Bo says, Frida, true. When researching could disprove your current actions, people can lack the motivation sometimes.
Yes. That is very true.
So, I
It's
mean,
like if you know you're going to see something that you're going to be...
that hurts your argument.
That hurts your argument.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, like the
So-
first vegan guy said, you know, photo tourism generates more money
So
than...
you guys see,
Trophy
you guys
hunting.
see like how she stands like this?
Yeah,
That's not normal.
it's not normal
And
for chickens.
finally we know why. And she had, oh, it's this little spider on her. I thought it was a little,
It's a little tiny spider.
go on this plant. Oh,
Jacqueline?
there we go. But yeah, so she has a sort of,
She should be standing up with her neck up like that.
yeah. And so her the worms we saw are actually right in here. I can see it. I can see it right now. I can see it right there. There's one here, and there's one here. Not to mention the ones she's been pooping
That are
out.
in her digestive system.
My baby. But I hope tomorrow, I hope they let me bring her with us. If not, sometime this week. Because Jackie needs to feel better. And she's been feeling this way since April. And we didn't have anyone who knew what was wrong. Until we took you to this other vet. Look at this. Jackie loves hugs. I love you so
sweetheart.
much. I love you so much. Jackie literally I feel like she's hugging me back.
That's because you are a sweet girl, huh? You sweet angel.
You guys, you should
You should hug a chicken.
Yeah, you should hug a chicken.
Just hug a chicken.
They're so freaking lovable.
Oh,
So lovely.
are we gurgly?
You guys have a video
Gurgly.
on vegan activism for beginners. We've talked about it,
Talked
but
about
not
it in earlier.
we've never made a video of,
We've never made like a starter video, but I would say
here.
see if you can find a somewhat local chapter of some form of organized activism that you connect with, whether you can find a vigil in your area or find an outreach event in your area. Doesn't have to be any specific brand, doesn't have to be a cube of truth officially, or there's a lot of Earthlings Experience or vegan outreach events, and there's a lot of vigils hosted by many organizations. It doesn't have to be any one in particular. And what I would do is go to these just to get started. Like if you go to a vigil, take your cell phone, take stories, take video, take photos, post them to your account. It's the easiest way. It's a really easy form of activism. You could also go to an outreach event and try an outreach conversation, or if you just want to observe and maybe test the waters a little bit. It's one of those things where it's like, how do you write a song? Well, at a certain point, you have to just start writing the song.
I will
And,
also suggest, I know my mic is probably blocked by the feathers, but I'll speak into your mic if you don't mind. I would also suggest, can you hold them more upright though?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
Ay.
Earthling Ed has...
Whoa, baby girl.
Hold on one second. One,
Whoa,
two,
beautiful.
three. 1, 2, 3, baby.
Hi, sweetheart.
Earthling Ed has a wonderful video, actually a series of videos, and a free PDF, a downloadable PDF. I actually translated it to Spanish for him, so it's available in Spanish as well.
What's up, my boy?
And it's called 30 Reasons, 30 Excuses. And it pretty much debunks every single excuse that you will ever hear in the most Pardon us.
I don't know if they saw that on camera or not.
1 second. Pardon me. 1, 2, 3. Let me just put her in her chair for 1 second while I clean that up. It's okay. We has chicken poops everywhere here. But yes, that PDF, I know you guys are gonna think we're gross, but Jackie. But you know, you stop feeling grossed out by chicken poop after a while. You really do. It's like when, you know, dog walkers who pick up dog poop with, you know, oh my God, that grosses me out because feeling like how warm it is through the plastic bag is like, okay, anyway, back to Earthling Ed. No, that PDF is probably one of my biggest inspirations, and everything is debunked very logically, and don't worry too much about memorizing facts, for example. I think the more you research, obviously, the more you'll come across the same facts.
Yeah.
So you will eventually retain them so much so that you're spitting them out. But this is more like debunking using logic. So.
Or consistency, or yeah.
Let me pick this up and disinfect.
Well, you wanna?
Yeah, we can wrap up.
It's been almost 2 hours, so.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Almost a 2-hour stream, Bubby.
You guys like.
Who's that? That's
know,
Aria Rose.
You guys are friends. You get to see
Aria Rose.
all the.
What?
Hi, Aria. All the things. He pooped too. Look, there's some poop on the ground below.
I know.
It's okay. They're so easy to clean up.
Hi.
They're like little nuggets. Okay.
Bo says logic is underrated.
By the way, 7. Did
70.
we determine? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, logic's underrated, but you don't need that many facts, quote unquote, to debate veganism because it's an ethical belief. So really, you're just talking about the consistency of someone's moral framework and the consistency of their actions. So, I mean, I guess like, you know,
Very good, Bubby.
what? There are more plants grown to feed animals than there are to feed humans. Like, I guess that's a fact if you want to combat the crop deaths, though, or like the plants have feelings, though, or whatever. Like, meat eaters eat more plants than vegans do, so that's like a fact. But really, like, debating veganism just comes down to debating someone's like how they practice their I think it would be normative ethics is like what you actually do, not what you believe, or I could be wrong about that.
Hello, Jackie. Oh,
But
sorry.
if you wouldn't like needlessly abuse, what do you need?
No, I have it right here actually. Her water.
If you wouldn't needlessly abuse a cat or a dog, why would you needlessly abuse a cow, pig, or chicken? I mean, that doesn't require that much fact to have an ethical discussion about that.
Very good.
Okay,
she's all set.
Because it pretty much always comes down to the fact that why do non-vegans eat meat? Because they like it, they like the taste, and they don't care that they're being inconsistent in terms of morals. So.
What do you tell someone who simply doesn't care about animals? You don't have to care about animals to show them respect.
I mean,
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Her foot is not.
Saying, what do you tell someone who doesn't care about?
There we go.
Or if they say they don't care about animals, then I would just ask them, like, okay, well, what if I said I don't care about people who are brown?
Okay.
If I just said I don't care, would that make it okay? Or what if I said I don't care about people who are women? So I can abuse women because I don't care. I don't care about women.
You can use that for anything.
You can substitute anything. If they say I don't care about animals, you can say, well, what if I didn't care about X? Does X deserve to be treated?
For example, and I know this is not a life or death situation, but like our neighbor, our lovely neighbor, once upon a time, was rebuilding his fence. And he decided to put a pole right, the fence post over the property line. And we had a little chat with him. not so fun chat.
It wasn't. Yeah, it started very polite, and then he got really mad.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. And all he kept saying was like, "I don't care. I don't care." I'm like, and we were like, "It's okay that you don't care, but what you're doing is illegal, and we will, you know, if you want to go through the trouble of like, you know, having to build your fence and then take it back down because we're going, you know, we can."
It's going to be way more.
Court.
Yeah, we were trying to help him actually, and I think that's what when we were nice at first, and we were like, "Hey, you know, just want to make sure, you know, your workers stay on their side of the property line and put that." And he was like, "Yeah, totally." And he also like destroyed one of our grapevines, and we weren't very happy about that. But like the grapevine was destroyed. What can you do at that point? But then when they actually put the fence post in the ground in cement and it was over the property line, we know this because there's a permanent bright orange property line at the corner of our lot, and he was like clearly over the line. Yeah. And so we were telling him like, we're trying to do you a favor. It's way easier to move this one post now than it is to build the whole fence. We take you to court, we win. Now you got to take the fence down, then move the fence. Like that's my dad went through a situation like that with a neighbor who he has not spoken with in a long time. So we were trying to save him the trouble, and he got very upset. But to your point, he was like, "I don't care that I put my fence post over your property line."
Like,
and
you
it's
don't
like,
have to care. It would be nice.
Doesn't matter.
You know, neighborly. You can be neighborly, and it would be nice if you care, but you don't have to care to do the right thing. Yeah. I mean, that's just. All right. Well, we should go. We tend to make these quite long. We just. I think
Bo says, I guess, highlight how they don't care about some humans and realize it's not okay to torture or kill them. Yeah, exactly. Just replacing the victim is a great way of highlighting inconsistencies in any moral framework, I think.
Yeah. So
you just go, well, what if I say I don't care about children? Can I abuse children now? If the answer is no, then it's like, okay, well, then the answer is also no for animals.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Well, guys, that's just about 2 hours on the dot there. Thank you for hanging out with us as we respond to this very underwhelming video, Is Eating Animals Wrong by Jubilee. If you guys have any videos that you would like to see us do a live response, please, you can leave it in the comments. Let us know. And thank you guys so much to everyone who has donated in the super chat today.
Yes, thank you so much.
All of those donations will go straight to this boy and that lady. And thank you so much to all of our Patreon patrons. And if you okay?
Yep. He wants to be on the ground. He doesn't want to be on the foam anymore. He doesn't like to be on his pad. He's done.
And if you guys are not Patreon patrons, but you like our content, you enjoy what we do, if our channel brings value into your life somehow, consider becoming a Patreon patron. Any dollar amount is helpful. No amount is too small. Right, Bubby?
Yes. And we'll be working on some other, now that we don't have an Instagram, I can
It's kind of freeing, isn't it?
It is freeing. It is so freeing.
Nice.
But now that we don't have an Instagram, we've been working on creating different content. We have this idea that we're working on for a video of not live response, but a video for you guys. And we will be doing that soon. we still need two more things. Hint, hint. It's a
hint.
It's a top 10 something.
It's a list of things.
It's a list of things. People love lists. All right, guys.
Take care. Angry Vegan, real quick, he says, I don't care about the speed limit, so I drive 100 miles an hour everywhere I go.
Exactly.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. I don't care about my neighbor's trees, so I just
chop them down.
Yeah. Okay.
Take care, everyone. See you in the next video.